PS5 in the basement, first floor, second floor, other end of the house, my toilet. The new PlayStation Portal, it was a bit of an unexpected device when it first announced, but after using it, it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, it has its flaws and limitations, but there are certain aspects of this device that really work and work well. Today, I want to go over the setup, show you how the PlayStation Portal works, the things I love about it, the things I hate about it, and overall tips. This is the box it comes in, typical PlayStation looking packaging. It's for PlayStation 5 and will not work with PS4. It's packaged nicely. The inner box is quite thick to protect the unit. Underneath here is a USB-C cable for charging the Portal, the handheld unit itself, and then there's also a user manual hidden underneath here. Here's the PlayStation Portal. It's quite large, kind of like a tablet connected to cut up DualSense controllers. I know it looks odd, but it feels good. Holding this thing is exactly like a PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, and that's a good thing. The same button layout as the PS5 controller. There are some additional buttons, the volume up and down right here. This thing does have built-in speakers. The power button is right here. This over here is the PlayStation Link button to pair the device with PlayStation Link supported headsets and earbuds, which aren't even released yet. I mean, those things don't come out until December 6th. PlayStation Portal, of course, doesn't have Bluetooth audio, so it's not going to work with any other headset other than those newer ones from Sony. It won't even work with the PlayStation 5 Pulse 3D headset. The USB port for charging is down here, and so is the 3.5mm headphone jack, and that wired connection for audio is really how I'll be using it. I just can't justify paying hundreds of dollars for one of those PlayStation Link headsets. Let's remove the screen protection, which really shows you how to power on the unit. Before I do power it on though, I'm gonna charge it using the USB-C cable. When it's charging, it will sort of display the battery percent level. To prepare your PS5 for the Portal remote play, there are a few things you need to do. Number one, make sure you're connected to the internet on your PS5 and logged into your PSN account. Number two, you need to go to settings, system, and then remote play and turn on enable remote play. The third thing you need to do is make sure your Portal can access your PS5 in rest mode. So for that, there's a few settings. Go to system, then power savings, and then features available in rest mode, and turn on stay connected to the internet and turn on enable turning PS5 from network. Now I'm going to turn on the PlayStation Portal. For that, just hold down the power button for a few seconds. It does take a little bit of time to turn on. Select your language, connect to your Wi-Fi network. We do need a software update for the Portal, software agreement, just agree to it, and then the update does take a bit of time to install. Now I can sign into my PSN account. I'm gonna actually do it manually here, and it's time to pair the Portal with my PS5. I can select the PS5 that I want to connect it to. I do have two consoles and they're all logged into the same PSN account. Now this preparation setting it's showing, we actually did that early on, so we're kind of good here to connect the Portal to the console. Ready to go, connecting to PS5. It took about 20 seconds and we're connected. I'm impressed with the minimal latency this device offers. You do of course need a good internet connection. This thing is perfect for single player games. However, for multiplayer games like FIFA 24, I did feel a slight input delay. So just keep that in mind for competitive multiplayer games where you kind of, every little millisecond matters. For those, you are going to notice a difference. I do love the screen on this unit. It's a beautiful 8-inch LCD, larger than all the other handhelds we know, and you should be protecting that cool little screen, so make sure you get a screen protector, and I'll drop a link in the description for one I recommend. I know it might look big and odd with its design, but this really is the best way to remote play with your PS5. The grip, the controller on this feels better than anything out there. Better than the Nintendo Switch, better than the Steam Deck, better than the Backbone One. It's basically a cut up PS5 controller. It kind of looks weird, but it works and I love it. There's no learning curve here. The PS5 players are really going to feel right at home with this device. It's super easy to connect as well. It's meant to do just that one thing and one thing only. I do have a few tips here. The touchscreen does act as the touchpad on the controller. There's two areas on the screen, one on the left, one on the right, which you can use exactly like you use the controller touchpad. You can also swipe on the top right corner here to pull up the PlayStation Portal quick menu, and then you can simply adjust the brightness and change any other settings that you want. This device is really streamlined. It's built for one thing and one thing only, and it does that really the best, that better than any other device. From the initial sales we've seen, it looks like it's a big hit with consumers. It's sold out almost everywhere. Now, a lot of reviewers I've seen, they're just sort of, sitting beside their PS5 and their big 4K TV and playing this thing. In reality, you should be playing it, away from your PS5, and that's sort of what I want to look at. How does it work when you're not sitting right next to your console? At home, my PS5 is in the basement, one corner of my house. So I'm going to walk up to the first floor. Second floor, other end of the house, my toilet. And that toilet's probably a common place where I'll be gaming with this thing. I do have a full mesh system in my house, good Wi-Fi coverage throughout the entire home. So for me, this works well. But keep in mind, your experience is largely gonna depend on how good your Wi-Fi connection is. Now let's get out of the house. I'm gonna go for a drive far away from my house. I actually created a hotspot using my phone here, connected that hotspot to my PlayStation Portal, and here I am playing my PlayStation 5 remotely on the Portal a few kilometers away from my home. I only had access to a LTE connection here and not 5G. With that, the experience here is a bit lame. It's blurry, lots of slowdowns. I tried playing FIFA here and pretty much got trashed. I mean, this thing's not meant for competitive gaming, but for single player games like Spider-Man, maybe you can get away with it. But even then, just keep in mind, we're talking resolution that looks like it's like 400p. I spent about an hour sitting here and gaming, and in terms of the data usage, I used up about 0.8 gigabytes in an hour. And that's of course with a LTE connection. If I did have a 5G connection, I'm sure it would have been a lot more data to give me a better image quality. But then again, you would have to keep an eye on your mobile data and make sure you don't go over your limits. Now, one thing that's really important here is you never should be turning and fully shutting down your PlayStation 5. Always put it into rest mode. If you accidentally shut it down while you're away from home, you're no longer going to be able to connect to your console. Now, I'm only a little bit away from my home, a few kilometers, but you know what? Maybe I should see how it is if I jump on an airplane and go to a different country and then try playing my PlayStation 5 remotely. But I just don't have that kind of money to do that just for a YouTube video. So, the short trip right here will do. But maybe when I'm on a beach somewhere on my next vacation, I'll try that out as well and see how that works. Also, I'm going to be doing a detailed battery life test and some other performance tests on the PlayStation Portal. But from what I've seen, and I can estimate that it's going to be probably around 5 hours of battery life. And that is with the max settings on the screen brightness as well as the sound. Overall, I do like the PlayStation Portal. No one, including myself, asked for this device. But now that it's here and after using it, it does make pretty good sense. For $200, there's no better way to remotely play games on your PlayStation 5. There are, of course, some flaws with this device. The biggest has to be the no Bluetooth audio. Forcing you to use the PlayStation Link technology wasn't the most consumer-friendly choice. I can also see some people being concerned about if the controller breaks or if there's strict drift, because in that case, your device is basically useless. So that was my setup and review of the PlayStation Portal. Let me know what you think in the comments, and is this something you're going to be getting? Do you think it's worth the money?